What is going on, lads? It's Billy the Kid here, and today I'm bringing you another Battlefield 3 weapon overview. Now, since the positive reaction I got from my last Battlefield 3 weapon overview, which was about the AS-VAL, I decided, you know what, this might be a good series I have going on here. So I'm going to do another one, and this one is going to be about one of the least used and least liked weapons in the entire game, and that is, no, it's not the USAS-12 with frag rounds, it's the PP-19 Bizon. The USAS with frag rounds gets more use than this thing, I can guarantee you. So why is it the least used weapon? Well, I'm going to get into that later. First off, I want to talk about where this weapon originated from. So in the early 1990s, the Russians, soon after the Soviet Union collapsed, were running out of money, basically. You should have seen it. It was a very bad situation for the Russian Federation. They were running out of money everywhere, and they realized, well, the only thing we have going on right now is selling weapons by the shipload. And if you've ever seen that movie with Nicolas Cage, Lord of War, you'll get where I'm going on. They needed to sell weapons faster than you can wash your clothes for the evening. I know it's weird. Anyway, so they decided, okay, let's sell them a shit ton of guns, but you know what, we need to develop new weapons. We really do need it for our own armed forces as well as for export. So at the time there was a lot of worries about terrorism in the early 1990s around the world, and they realized, hang on a second, we don't really have a submachine gun. Well, we do. It's called a Scorpion. It looks like this, but it's very outdated. It came from the 1960s and we need a replacement. So they realized, well, the countries that love the AK really would like to see a AK fitted with a 9mm round. So the Russians decided, well, look, okay, let's develop a submachine gun that's got the same action as a Kalashnikov assault rifle, and it's fitted for a 9mm round. So that's what they did. In the early 1990s, the Izmash State Arms Factory that developed the AK-74 and AK-74M came up with a design for the PP-19 Bizon. And it looks very strange. I mean, you think of a submachine gun, you think of the MP5, the P90, MP7. Now, the P90 itself looks futuristic, and this PP-19 looks very weird. It has a 64-round helical drum magazine fitted underneath the barrel, which acts as a grip. And it can fire 9mm parabellum rounds, it can fire 7.62 by 25mm Tokarev rounds, it can fire 9mm Makarov rounds. It really depends on where the weapon is being exported to and what country, what type of ammunition that country uses in its armed forces and police. But if you look at the weapon, it kind of looks like a AKS-74U because it has the same folding stock. It has the same action as an AKS-74U. It has the same sights. The only thing different is of course, the ammunition used and the magazine. And as well as the flash hider at the end of the barrel is a little bit different than usual AKs. Now you might be thinking, I've never seen a gun like this with a magazine that unusual. Is this the first weapon to ever use a helical magazine? The answer is no, it's not. There was another submachine gun which was very unsuccessful called the Calico, and here's a picture of the Calico. I remember seeing it before because it was in a James Bond game, and I remember playing with it as if, what the hell is this? But yeah, the Calico was another weapon that used a helical magazine, but it was very unsuccessful. Nobody bought because it just looked completely too futuristic. And the helical magazine is much more conventional in appearance and layout because you can fit more rounds into it. Like I said, 64 rounds is a lot of ammunition. As well as with the folding stock, it can be very compact, so it's very good for Russian Secret Service agents. They can, fold the stock and keep it under their suits if they're on protective duty for a politician or something like that. Though a lot of them do carry AKS-74Us instead because it has a much bigger round and much more penetrative power than a 9mm parabellum. Now, like I said earlier on, it looks like a Kalashnikov, and that's because all the controls, all the action is exactly the same as a Kalashnikov. The only difference is it carries a 9mm round instead of the normal 7.62 round that an assault rifle will carry, or 5.45 if you carry in the AK-74. And this is a very plus sign for the Bizon in real life, because if the action is the same and all the components are the same as a regular AK, then it's not going to cost a lot to train soldiers and police on how to use it effectively. That's what you see with a lot of new Russian weapons. It all carries the same action as the legendary AK-47 or 74, whichever one you want to go on. They're not going to change it. They're not going to try and adapt to a new design. I mean, as the old saying goes, if the bike is not broken, there's no need to fix it. If it works, it works, and it does work very well. Now, there are other weapons that are being developed to replace the PP-19. The PP-2000, which is also in Battlefield 3, also carries a 9mm round, and they are starting to incorporate some of those weapons into frontline service in the Russian army and special forces and police agencies. So even though the PP-19 has been around since the early 1990s, it's already been replaced by the PP-2000 and a few other new designs that Izhmash and other arms factories in Russia that are starting to develop. Now, enough of the real-life weapon. Let's get on to the Battlefield 3 PP-19. And where does it work and where does it not work? So you don't have to worry straight off the bat about unlocking an extended mag. However, there are sadly a lot of bad points about the weapon. The PP-19 deals the least damage at close range of any PDW in a class, but also has the largest magazine of any PDW. Even with those PDWs that can get extended mags like the MP7, the M5K, you don't have to worry about that when you unlock the PP-19. However, you have to understand that this thing has the least damage. So you need up to 10 meters, you need 6 body shots to put someone down. And especially in close quarters, you're not going to get 6 body shots. You're going to get outshot, outgunned by any assault rifle, any shotgun, any other PDW that does more damage like the MP7, M5K, just to name a few. So there are very few good points about the PP-19 in-game. Now in this particular gameplay you're looking at, this is TDM on one of the Back to Karkan maps. I think it's called Sharky Peninsula if I'm not mistaken. And I was actually doing pretty well. There is, in this gameplay, I'm using the red dot sight, which I wanted to use because I was just getting a little bit sick and tired of the Cobra, so I thought I'll switch it up with the red dot sight. Normally I use the Cobra anyway, but I wanted that little bit of extra accuracy. And I was actually doing pretty well. You do have a choice. You will unlock a suppressor for this weapon, but I'll say, you know what, the PP-19 does so little damage. You put that suppressor on, you might as well start throwing rocks at the enemy. So keep the suppressor off, put the laser sight on, and you could have a chance. Like I said, this weapon does so little damage, you really have to keep your engagements to close range. Forget about medium range, forget about long range. And even in close range, you will still get outshot by AEKs, F2000s, MP7s and the like. The only good thing is that it has a high rate of fire, it has a big magazine to start off with, and that's pretty much it. I wish DICE really did do something with the PP-19. I think this could be one of the more favorite weapons in the entire game if they just raise the damage a little bit. I think it's starting off with 16 damage. I don't know what the MP7 is, but I think it's around 20 damage, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know anything about stats, but all I know is that it starts off at 16 damage and then drops off to 9 after something like 30 meters, and that's kind of ridiculous. So I like the PP-19. I just wish they raised the damage a little bit. If they had to decrease the rate of fire to increase the damage per bullet, then I'd be a happy man. Right there I finished second because I'm a boss. No, I finished second because, well, the PP-19 is a very good weapon. It's just that damage per bullet is ridiculous. They need to increase it if anybody's going to even think about using the PP-19. Anyway lads, this commentary is wrapping up. If you liked this commentary, if you liked the information about the PP-19 both in real life and in game, please hit that like button and please correct me if I am wrong in stats or anything like that. Let me know what you think of the PP-19. Do you think it's a good gun? Do you use it? And why? Thank you very much for watching lads, and I'll see you again.